want me to have people or?
I was going to get a microphone stand, or you just want to hold on to it.
Well, I'll ask one of my lovely volunteers to be the runner.
Because what I do, like,
He heard that.
I heard it too. Oops, sorry. Almost sat on you.
So may I ask between the two of you if you would like to be the runner?
I'll be the runner. I'm ready to run. I need this first.
Are we good?
Yes, go ahead, you're live.
Well, welcome to our Life Vision Workshop. It just surprised, kind of scared me because it was loud. So this is going to be a little different. It's from The Code of the Extraordinary Mind and Prosperity Plus by, what's her name?
Mary Williamson?
No, Mary, anyway. She's dead now. I'm here now. So anyway, we're going to look at 12 areas of balance, and then we're going to look at what experiences do we want to have, and we're going to write stuff down, and we're going to just dive deeper into the possibilities of who we have come here to be. So I'm going to read through the instructions. Everybody have something to write with? That's the first requirement. If not, I do have something somewhere. There we go. There's some right there. All right, so we're considering 12 areas of balance. For each category below, rate your life. Let me ask before we go. It's the Dharma dance. Good. So we have people on Zoom have the ability to see the same handouts that you all are looking at. So I'm happy for that. So for each category below, write your life on a scale to 1 to 10, with 1 being very weak, 10 being extraordinary. Don't think about each item too long. Often the first impulse, your gut check, can't get away from golf, is the most accurate. So number 1, your love relationship. How do you define love? What do you expect from a love relationship, both to give and receive? Do you believe love brings hurt? Do you believe love can endure? Do you believe you have the capacity to love greatly? Do you believe you deserve to be loved and treasured? So on a scale of 1 to 10, whatever love you want to experience in your life or you are experiencing right now, whatever that means to you, doesn't mean you have to be in relationship. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very weak, 10 being extraordinary. So take a moment to answer that. And we're just going to go down through these pretty quickly. The next one is your friendships. How do you define friendship? Do you believe that friendships can be long-lasting? Do you believe your friends take more from you than they give? Do you believe making friends is easy or hard? So what's been your experience with that? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being weak, 10 being extraordinary. Question?
Yeah, so some of these are like, they're different numbers. Like, do you believe it's easy or hard?
Overall, with all those questions, find a place where you can answer. Or just whatever resonates. If you have a response right away, go with that. Number 3, your adventures. What's your idea of adventure? Is it about travel, physical activity, art and culture, urban or rural sights and sounds? Seeing how people live in places totally different from yours. Are you making time and space for adventure in your life? Do you believe you need to save for retirement before taking a long trip? Would you feel guilty if you left your job or your family to take a holiday by yourself? Do you think that spending money on experiences, such as skydiving, is frivolous? Scale of 1. Don't hold back, Eileen. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being weak, 10 being extraordinary. Your environment. Where do you feel happiest? Are you content with where and how you live? How do you define home? What aspects of your environment are most important to you? Colors, sounds, type of furniture, proximity to nature or culture, neatness, level of convenience. Do you believe you deserve a gorgeous home to stay in 5-star hotels when you travel and to work in great environments? How do you feel about your environment? Your health and fitness. How do you define physical health? How do you define healthy eating? Do you believe you're genetically inclined toward obesity or other health issues? Do you believe you'll live as long as or longer than your parents? Do you believe you're aging well or poorly? Take a minute to think about that. Number 6, your intellectual life. How much are you learning? How much are you growing? How much control do you have over your mind and your daily thoughts? Do you believe you have adequate intelligence to accomplish your goals? Scale of 1 to 10. Your skills. What do you consider something you're good at and what not so much? Where did those perceptions come from? What holds you back from learning new things? Are there some skills you're ready to let go? What keeps you from making the change? What special abilities and character traits do you have that you feel are most valuable? What do you feel you suck at? It's there. Your spiritual life. What type of spiritual values to believe in? How do you practice them and how often? Is spirituality a social or individual experience for you? Are you stuck in models of culture and religion that hold little appeal, but you're afraid to abandon them for fear of hurting others? Your career, your present self-expression. So if you're not in a career, what is your self-expression? What is your definition of work or your self-expression? How do you define what you're doing now, a career? How do you enjoy your career? Do you feel you're being noticed and appreciated in your career? Do you feel you have what it takes to succeed in your self-expression? Your creative life. Do you believe that you are creative? Is there a creative person you admire? What do you admire about him or her? What creative pursuits do you engage in? Do you believe you have a talent for a specific creative project? Your family life. What do you believe is your main role as a life partner? How about as a son or daughter? Is your family life satisfying to you? What were your values about family growing up? Do you believe a family is a burden or an asset to your happiness? And finally, your community life. Do you share the values of the community that you're a part of? What do you believe is the highest purpose of a community? Do you believe you're able to contribute? Do you feel like contributing? All right, let's get some feedback. How do you feel about this exercise? How did you do? Any surprises? Lorraine,
Hello.
the mic is coming to you.
Thank you, Ms. Renner. Although I gave myself high ratings, I feel like I'm really in process. It's not like I've arrived. It's a process in growing, a process of loving, the process of creativity, always new projects to be involved in. I got a really low score in adventures, especially after COVID. I'm not adventuring very much. And maybe that's something I could work on.
Perhaps. And as you look at these things, you know, something that you scored low on may not be the highest priority for you to work on. So that's something to keep in mind is a low score doesn't mean that, oh, I got to address this right now. It may be something that you're very high on and you want to score higher. Anyone else? Thank you, Linda.
On a number of the questions, I waffled a lot, depending on which aspect of the question I was thinking about. So there wasn't a number that covered it all.
So that's an experience, I guess, that everyone has had to some extent or another, because there's so many questions there. But the idea is, overall, what's the feeling? What's the feeling on even those things that you waffled on? Try and hone in on that. And again, the idea is to figure out, is this an area that I really want to improve in? Because the waffling may indicate that, yeah, this needs some attention. Anyone else? You guys are good. Just move through it fast. All right, the next page that you should have is creating a vision for the future. I think. All right, so this we'll spend a little bit more time on. Question 1, what experiences do you want to have? In this section, you're asking yourself this question. If time and money were no object, and I did not have to seek anyone's permission, what kinds of experiences would my soul crave? What would I love? So now we're going to look at each one of these areas. Let's apply this to the first 4 items in the 12 areas of balance. Each of these 4 items relates to experiences. Your love relationship. What does your ideal love relationship look like? Imagine it in all its facets. How you communicate. What you have in common. The activities you do together. What a day in your life looks like. What holidays are like. What moral and ethical beliefs you share. What type of wild, passionate sex are you having? Again, wherever you're at with that question is just fine. What is your love relationships? What are they like?
I've considered love relationships, my family and friends, and that, yeah, love is love, and love is being here. And that's what my love relationships are now with my family and friends, because my husband's passed on. And
So with your family and friends, how do you communicate? What do you have in common? What activities?
oh, I talk to them. I
So it's
hug
just-
them.
Just a question about,
Yeah.
is that an area where you can have a different experience? A deeper experience.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
You
Well,
know.
that's what we want to write down.
Okay,
Yeah?
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next one. Your friendships. What experiences would you like to share with a friend or with friends? Who are the friends you share those experiences with? What are your ideal friends like? Picture your social life in a perfect world. The people, the places, the conversation, the activities. What does the perfect weekend with your friends look like? Again, from the place of time and money, we're no object and you don't have to seek anyone's permission. What kind of experiences with friends? What does your soul crave? Maybe it's going to an exotic place with your friends for a spiritual retreat. Maybe it's going to Augusta National to see the golf course. So adventures. Time, money, no object. You don't have to ask anybody's permission. Spend a few minutes thinking about people who have had what you consider to be amazing adventures. What did they do? Where did they go? How do you define adventure? What places have you always wanted to see? What adventurous things have you always wanted to do? What kind of adventures would make your soul sing? So here's the challenge. If you're having challenges filling these in, you're not thinking big enough. Who was talking about thinking big? I think Carol Ann was talking about thinking big today. Time and money aren't an object, and you don't have to ask anybody's permission.
Okay, so then I want to go to a different state, in a different kind of city, small town, big town, and spend 2 weeks out of the month, and then, well, maybe go home and then for a month and a half, and then pick another one at random, fly in, get a rent-a-car, and do the same thing, and go explore, and meet everybody, and talk to as many people as I can, and just see their lifestyles, just go up and down the blocks.
So that's what you need to write down. You can make it shorter, but that's what you want to write down. We're not focused on challenges. We're trying to think out of the box here.
For many of us, there's one more aspect that is a challenge besides time and money, and that's ability. And that's a limiting factor also.
So given that challenge or that limitation, within that limitation, what would you like to do? What would you like to experience in terms of adventure? People come up with amazingly creative ways if that vision is pulling them strongly enough. It's all there. Next question, your environment. In this amazing life of yours, what would your home look like? What would it feel like to come back to this place? Describe your favorite room. What would be in that wonderful space? What would be the most heavenly bed you can imagine sleeping in? What kind of car would you drive if you could have any car you wanted? Now imagine the perfect workspace. Describe where you could do your best work. When you go out, what kinds of restaurants and hotels would you love to visit? I know this is a stretch for some of us, and that's the whole point, is to really think about stretching your mind here, not arguing for your limitation. That isn't what this is about. It's really just stretching, stretch, imagine. All right, the next question. Question 2. How do you want to grow? In this section, you're essentially asking yourself, in order to have those experiences that I'm dreaming about, how do I have to grow? What sort of man or woman do I need to evolve into? This question ties to the previous one. So for your health and fitness, describe how you want to feel and look every day. What about 5, 10, or 20 years from now? What eating and fitness systems would you like to have? Are there fitness goals you'd like to achieve purely from the thrill of knowing you accomplished them? Whether it's hiking a mountain, learning to tap dance, or getting in a routine of going to the gym, or simply walking more frequently, or whatever it is, there are things that you can do physically that maybe you've limited your belief about whether or not you could do it. How do you want to grow in your health and fitness? Your intellectual life. What do you need to learn in order to have the experiences you listed above? What would you love to learn? What books and movies would stretch your mind and tastes? What kinds of art, music, or theater would you like to know more about? Remember to focus on end goals, choosing learning opportunities where there is joy in the learning itself, and learning is not a means to an end, such as a diploma. So I want to learn to play the guitar. Jody Siegel, I can call her. And I can learn, not for the sake of being able to play up here on Sunday, maybe it is, but it's the joy of learning how to play and surprising yourself that maybe you have a talent there. Or maybe you want to learn to sign. Eileen can help you out. Not for the purpose of standing in front of any audience and doing it, but certainly opening yourself up to learning another language. Your skills. What skill would help you to thrive at your job and would you enjoy mastering? If you'd love to switch gears professionally, what skills would it take to do that? What are some skills you want to learn just for fun? What would make you happy and proud to know how to do? If you could go back to school to learn anything you wanted just for the joy of it, what would that be? Stretch, stretch. How do you want to grow? Stretch. You see how easy it is to argue for your limitation? Oh, the last thing I want to do is go back to school. All right.
And I know where I want to go, too.
You go where you want to go?
To my school.
Yeah.
You know, the thought that I have is that we're all living a longer life. That's actually been my thought, that I'm going to probably live a longer life than I'm expecting. I'm already surprised. And that if I'm living longer, then I may as well learn something new. And like, I am taking sign every week. Eileen there gives me a little bit of the alphabet or some words, and so that's the thing. I believe that I'm going to live a long life, so what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And I have the time, the resources, like you said, and so I'm doing lots of things. It's really exciting. Yeah.
Well, and if you want to learn more about signing, watch that movie, Coda. Awesome. Just awesome.
Where did you see it? I haven't seen it at the theater.
It's It's on Zulu, I think. I think it was Paramount, but it could have been Apple, right? Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. Spiritual life. Where are you now spiritually, and where would you like to be? Would you like to move deeper into the spiritual practice you already have, or try out others? What is your highest aspiration for your spiritual practice? Would you like to learn things like lucid dreaming, deep states of meditation, or ways to overcome fear, worry, or stress? How do you want to grow spiritually? Any comments or questions so far? How you're doing? Any surprises in what you need to do to grow?
This is kind of fun and exciting. My mind is like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Shiny, blingy things.
I don't ever hear about it.
All right, the third question. How do you want to contribute? This question explores how all of your unique experiences and growth can help you to contribute to the world. You see how this is linking everything. Perhaps it's inviting the new neighbors over for a cookout, or taking a new hire out to lunch, helping rescue animals get adopted, or spearheading a clothing drive at work. If I have the experiences above and have grown in these remarkable ways, then how can I give back to the world? So in terms of your career, or your perfect self-expression, what are your visions for that self-expression, for that career? What level of competence do you want to achieve, and why? How would you like to improve your workplace or company? If your self-expression does not currently seem to contribute anything meaningful to the world, take a closer look. Is that because the work is truly meaningless, or does it just not have meaning to you? What career would you like to get into? Or what self-expression would you like to bring forward? Let your mind play with it, because you've already learned what you need to do to grow in that experience. Your creative life. What creative activities do you love to do? Or what would you like to learn? It could be anything from cooking, to photography, to painting, to writing poetry. What are some ways you can share your creative self with the world? We know Carol Ann's jonesing to have her poetry published. What about you? What can you create that you can give back to the world? I know there's something there for everybody in this room. It doesn't have to be, splashed on the headlines. In your own quiet way, it can be just recognizing every person that you see as a divine inspiration, so that you decide you're going to have a creative way to giving something to the homeless for every homeless person that you see. You see, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be very small, which is a big thing. Your family life. Picture yourself being with your family, not as you think you should be, but in ways that fill you with happiness. What are you doing and saying? What wonderful experiences are you having together? What values do you want to embody and pass along? What can you contribute to your family that is unique to you? Keep in mind that your family doesn't have to be a traditional family. Family may be cohabiting partners, a same-sex partner, a marriage where you decide not to have children, or a single life where you consider a few close friends as family. Create a new model of reality and think of family as those whom you truly love and want to spend time with. A new model of reality. You're in charge. You have that imprisoned splendor that is just dying to get out. That is, in fact, your path forward, your dharma. Your community life. This could be your friends, your neighborhood, your neighbors, your city, state, nation, religious community, or the world community. How would you like to contribute to your community? Looking at all of your abilities, all of your ideas, all of the unique experiences you've had that make you the person you are, what is the mark you want to leave on the world that excites and deeply satisfies you? For me, the author, it's reforming global education for our children. What is it for you?
I wonder if you could remember the author's name. Is that the author?
Vishen Lakhiani? Yeah. No, Mary Morrissey was the other one. Yeah. And we're going to do that exercise, so you got to write something down. All right, so what we do from this point is on the next page where you have experiences, growth, and contribution. There you go. Is write down at least one thing under experiences. If time, money were no object, what kinds of experiences would your soul crave? Write down at least one thing that you thought of. Some of you I know didn't write down anything. Others wrote down a lot of things. I'd like you to think about writing one thing down, at least. Yes?
What about how well your body works? No limitation. No.
If time, money were no object, what kind of experiences does your soul crave?
But time and money don't figure what
So
physically
what experience would your soul crave physically?
to play ping pong again.
Write it down.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to, but I have to make a walker. that-
Okay, no limitations.
Okay.
Ping pong. Write it
I
down.
want to create a walker that will allow me.
That's the next, under growth then, if you want to play ping pong, in order to have the experience, how do I need to grow?
Okay.
I need to figure out how I can support myself while I'm playing
Yeah.
ping
because
pong.
I can't run around yet.
Well, you see how this works is right away we think of the limitations, why we can't do something. And what we're trying to do here is reach deep inside to say, okay, do I really want to do this? What experience do I crave? And if I crave it, if there is a desire to do something, then the universe can only say one thing. What is that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So it may not be in the form that you're imagining it, but there is a way to do it. So why limit what God can do in your life? You know, we spend too much time arguing for our limitation. And this exercise is designed to help you to see that there is a way forward. If your soul is really craving it, then that is a divine inspiration. And there is a way to move forward in it. So you're writing down at least one experience, and then with that experience, what do you need to grow? How do you need to grow to have that experience? And then the third is really the motivator. of why you're going to do it. If I have these experiences and have grown in these remarkable ways, then how can I give back to the world? So we're going to take a couple of minutes to just write these ideas down. Different experiences, different growth. If you want to travel, as you said, then how do I need to grow in that area? We'll take a couple more minutes. All right, if you could find a place to stop. Is anyone ready to share anything? What did you discover?
I'll share. Because I don't feel like walking anywhere. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The experience I want to have is time in nature with an amazing man who I love deeply and who loves me, holding hands and walking in awe of the beauty that abounds, having fun, breathing in the fresh air, and reveling in all of life's creatures and the glorious abundance around us, laughing, loving, and just being. And the growth is that I need to go to nature. I need to meet my man. And I need to create space in my schedule. And then I changed it to an affirmation. I make space for this in my life. And the contribution is that I would share even more from a more fulfilled space. So I feel like all of my time and effort in my life right now is going towards contribution, and therefore I'm not having my own personal experiences that I need, and so I need to make space for that in my life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Can anyone see that for Wenda? Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take phone numbers too.
Anyone else care to share?
Come on, guys.
Now, everybody has at least one thing written down. Marjorie.
Well, it's cheating because it's kind of already in process, but it made me realize I finally came up with the third piece. I would like to be able to speak Spanish. And the growth is the learning process, and I have started it. There's this program called Duolingual, and I'm working with it. And then I got, what's the contribution? And then I realized my daughter-in-law is from Mexico, and it would be nice, honoring who she is, to be able to speak with her in her in her family of origin language.
Beautiful. You see how that ticks all the boxes. And you'd already started to think about it, but you brought it deeper.
Now I know why.
Now you know why.
Now I know why. I was thinking so I could speak to the cleaning ladies, but I realized Olga is a new citizen. She's been a citizen for about 5 years. And I think she sometimes feels less than because she's Mexican. And this is a way to really honor who she is.
Honoring.
So it's like
Beautiful.
Anyone else brave enough to share?
You really, okay. I don't really, well, yeah, well, okay. Well, for me, I'm really on a spiritual journey. Oh, sorry. I'm really on a spiritual journey. That's my whole focus right now. So my experiences that I want are endless spiritual experiences that are facilitated by someone else. People that reflect their energy back to me that is positive, and I do likewise. Finding acceptance in myself and all human beings. Patience and promoting love, that's big for me. And the growth, it's like, I know I need to let go more and have more self-love and go with, I'm really working on going with the flow. And trust and faith has become a bigger word for me, faith that everything's gonna flow. Keep meditating and that everything is perfect and awesome. And then the contributions, when I get there, well, I'm doing it now, but I think I can do it better. So endless giving and receiving, sending the energy of love to all living beings with an open heart, spreading love. That's my focus.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Your focus too. I think maybe we finally, I think that's why we're here in this particular sanctuary with these particular people. Because that's what I feel here is just, I mean, I'm meeting so many incredible human beings here that have so much to offer. And it's help, I know, and what you've done for me, John DePalma, is open me, and I'm so willing that it's happening faster because I want it to. And like these workshops are, oh, we're so blessed. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, I'm going to go ahead with my plans on building a patio. I live in Leisure World, and I got plans to build outside a patio. So I'm going to be, because my house, my apartment was expanded, and so I don't have any patio, so I can't sit out. And I want to be out front where I can say hello to people and say, sit down and have a cup of tea with me, you know.
Wonderful.
And so that's going to be, I want to meet people and make them welcome. So
Thank you.
that's.
All right. We're not done yet. Now comes the real fun part. I'd like you to partner up, find a partner. Okay? You're going to sit right next to them. Somebody's got to move over there. So does everyone have a partner? You two, you two, you two. We can do 3. Okay, so here's the exercise. You have the thing that you wrote down. You know how you have to grow. You know how it's going to contribute. So you're going to stand in front of your partner, or sit, it's okay. I like standing because you're going to go counterclockwise. Spin around 3 times. And when you stop, without getting dizzy, that's the test. You can just do it once.
Yeah.
And then you're going to imagine 3 years from now, and you're going to make a statement to your partner, and you're going to say, Eileen, oh my God, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in 3 years. Let me tell you what's happened in my life. I've mastered, or I've learned how to sign. And I was asked to do it in my Chamber of Commerce. And someone came up afterwards and asked me if I did this professionally. And I said yes. And it led to me having a gig almost every month to do this. And I'm just so excited in my life because people are asking me all the time if I can teach them to sign. So you want to embody the enthusiasm of this being real right now, 3 years from now. And then the other person will do it on their experience, all right? So if you don't want to stand up and turn around, just close your eyes and picture yourself 3 years in the future and how excited you are to share that experience, all right? Got it? Go.
Thank you.
take another minute. Thank you. It's good? You're going to have everybody signing.
Sunday is the same as wonderful. Sunday.
Oh, so good to see you again.
So, how do you say
All right. Let's come back together. Right now. Okay, let me ask this question. How hard was it to fill in the script? Say it.
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all.
Not hard at all, yes.
Isn't that amazing? Did you ever think of that before today? Of what that script would be 3 years from now?
I feel launched.
Launched.
It was manifested, and I told her all about it, and now it's like, oh, I got to get a phone. Hello. Yeah, because mine was about basically hiring somebody to declutter my house, and it happened, didn't it? I can open my drawers now. I know where everything is, and life is so much better, because I'm cluttered up here. I don't want to be cluttered there, too. So, yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, after listening to Wenda's journey, it freed me and gave me permission to just open up all the doors and windows and let myself go where I want to go. It was a gift. Thank you.
Isn't it amazing how we don't allow ourselves to really dream, to get out there and really just cut loose and let that imprison, isn't that what we call it, that imprisoned splendor? That's what we're talking about. We imprison it with all of these ideas that I can't do that, or I shouldn't have high expectations. And it can be simple things like decluttering the house. We call that tolerations. What are you tolerating in your life? This pile of stuff here, this pile of stuff here, and all of it has energy. And if we can get rid of that energy, I mean, that builds us up, that adds to. Anyone else? Here, and then Marjorie.
It was really fun doing this exercise with my husband. I think talking about future pacing 3 years, it was really interesting to see how we were so similar and yet so different, and that those different projects could be merged together just beautifully, and we could appreciate each other's projects.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, very cool.
Well, I just wanted to say watch out, because I did this once 10 or 15 years ago, and it was making a bucket list. And one of the things on my bucket list was I wanted to be in a musical. And I came back, and they were having tryouts for West Side Story. Well, that's mainly young kids, and even 15 years ago, I wasn't that. I tried out, and I got to be the teacher at the Huntington Beach Playhouse. I got written up in the Orange County Register. They said I was new, and I acquitted myself nicely. So watch out what you set your mind for, because it's coming.
Well, this is off topic, but when I first sat down and I was looking this way to talk to Sue, I saw love over there. I thought, look at the love in those. They were looking at each other, and it was just like, you know, cartoons where you see. I saw it. So I was jealous, and then I'm not jealous. I'm just grateful. And then as far as declutter, I have a lot of children's books, and I'm no longer using them. And I've been wanting to give them somewhere. And someone told me about this guy in Long Beach that I forget his name, but he gives away books. And so I have 5 bags of children's books in my trunk, decluttered from my house, that are going to someone else this afternoon.
Wonderful. Thank you. Wasn't this fun?
Yeah.
When we started and I sat down and reading this, and it's like, oh my God, one of these, right? There's not much energy in that. But it's allowing ourselves to go through a process to really release what's inside of us. And if you were standing up, it was much different than when you're sitting down, because there's a certain energy, kinesthetic energy in the movement. So you might want to try that again. You got a whole list now that you can go through, right? So everybody can continue to do this process, because you've already seen how launched you can be just by some simple exercise to blow away all those barriers that I don't know what reason we set them up, but it's like, that's the chronic thinking, the assimilation of the culture that holds us back to think that we can't dream, that we can't get that energy out there. And that's what this is about, is releasing that imprisoned splendor. So thank you for coming today. We're out of time, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you, Wenda.